Papa killed Mama for birthing a girl. The rancher saved her kids. The yellowed police report hit Sheriff Morton's desk like a gunshot. Sarah's hands shake, but her voice cuts through the stale air of the station without a tremor. 20 years of buried truth sit between them in black ink and faded photographs. You knew. Morton doesn't look up from the papers scattered across his desk. His coffee has gone cold hours ago, but his hands still wrap around the mug like it might save him from this moment. Sarah, you knew Papa killed her. That's enough. The rancher told me everything. Morton's weathered fingers move to his badge, tracing the 5-pointed star that has weighed heavy on his chest for 3 decades. The metal feels cold under his touch, cold as the morgue, where he identified Sarah's mama all those years ago. Cold as the lies he's been telling ever since. Clint Morrison saved you kids. That's what matters. What matters is justice. The office feels smaller than it did when Sarah was 7, crouched behind these same filing cabinets while her father's bourbon-soaked rage found its target. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead with the same sickly hum that haunted her childhood nightmares. Nothing has changed in this room except Sarah herself. Justice. Got buried with your mama 20 years ago. Then let's dig it up, Sarah's. Twin brother Jake appears in the doorway like a shadow given form. His rancher's hat casts darkness across his face, but she can feel his presence shift the air in the room. The three of them create a triangle of tension, past and present, colliding under the harsh lights that have witnessed too many secrets. Jake's boots scrape against the linoleum as he steps inside. His presence fills the space between Sarah and Morton, solid and unwavering as the land that raised them both. She's right, Jake says, his voice carrying the weight of soil and honest work. Truth has a way of surfacing, Sheriff. Like bones in a drought. Morton's badge catches the light as his chest rises and falls. The star that once meant protection now feels like an accusation pinned above his heart. Sarah watches him struggle with words that have been choking him for decades. The police report lies open between them, waiting for justice to finally come home. Clint's weathered hands grip his coffee mug like an anchor against the storm that's been brewing for 20 years. The ceramic is chipped from decades of dawn mornings and sleepless nights, worn smooth by fingers that have carried too many secrets. Sarah and Jake sit across from him in the ranch kitchen where they grew up, where he raised them after pulling them from their burning house that October night when innocence died. The kitchen table bears scars from homework sessions and birthday cakes, from conversations about first loves and college dreams. Now it holds the weight of truth too heavy for any family to bear. Your daddy wasn't just angry about having a girl. Jake leans forward, his elbows resting on the familiar wood grain. What do you mean? He was angry about whose girl it might be. Sarah's breath catches in her throat like a bird trapped in a cage. The words hang in the air between them, heavy as smoke from a house fire. What are you saying? Clint's eyes drift to the window where morning light filters through curtains their mother once hung. Your mama came to me that summer, said she was scared. Said your daddy was drinking more, talking about blood and family names. Clint, he thought you weren't his. Sarah, thought your mama stepped out. The question sits on Sarah's lips like a loaded gun. Did she? Clint's silence stretches like barbed wire across the kitchen, sharp enough to draw blood. Outside, cattle low in the distance, a sound that's haunted this place for decades. The same sound that filled the air the night their world ended. Sarah watches his face, searching for answers in the lines carved by years of hard work and harder choices. Doesn't matter what she did or didn't do. What matters is he put a shotgun to her head and pulled that trigger. Jake's hands clench into fists on the table. Why didn't you tell the sheriff? I did. Morton buried it. Said the town needed peace more than truth. The chair scrapes against the worn floor as Sarah stands abruptly, the sound like fingernails on wood. Her whole body trembles with rage that's been building since she was 7 years old. Where are you going? Sarah's voice cuts through the kitchen like a blade. To get that truth back. The screen door slams behind her, leaving Clint and Jake sitting in the wreckage of everything they thought they knew about their family. The rope burns Sarah's palms as she lowers herself into the abandoned well behind their childhood home. 20 years of neglect have turned the stone walls black with moss and decay. Jake holds the flashlight above, its beam cutting through darkness that feels thick as grave dirt. You sure about this? The rancher said Papa threw something down here that night. Could be anything. Could be proof. Her boots touch bottom with a splash that echoes up the narrow shaft. Water seeps through the stones, cold and stagnant. The air tastes of rust and forgotten secrets. Sarah pulls out her own flashlight, sweeping the beam across the well floor. Something white catches the light nestled against the far wall. Bones. Small bones wrapped in rotted fabric that might have once been a blanket. Sarah, what do you see? Her voice comes out as a whisper. There's a baby down here, Jake. The silence from above is deafening. Sarah's hands shake as she moves closer, her flashlight revealing more details she wishes she couldn't see. The tiny skeleton is curled in what looks like a peaceful sleep, protected by fabric that has somehow survived the decades. Beside the bones, something glints in the light. A small wooden cross, carved with careful hands and deep love. Sarah picks it up, reading the initials burned into the wood. MH plus CM, Mama's initials, and Clint Morrison's. The truth hits her like cold water. This baby, this secret buried in darkness, connects her mother to the man who raised them, the man who saved them, the man who loved their mother enough to keep her secrets even after death. Pull me up. What did you find? Pull me up now. As Jake holds her toward the surface, Sarah clutches the tiny cross. Her mama's secret, buried with an infant that never drew breath. A child who would have been her sibling, or maybe something else entirely. Maybe the reason their father's rage finally erupted into murder. The truth tastes like well water and old death, bitter on her tongue, as she emerges into daylight that feels too bright for such dark revelations. The black sedan kicks up dust as it stops in front of the sheriff's station, its polished surface gleaming like a weapon in the afternoon sun. Governor Morton steps out in a suit that costs more than most folks make in a month. His Italian leather shoes hitting the cracked pavement with the confidence of a man who owns the ground he walks on. Sarah, Jake, Tommy. They grew up together in this same dust, played in the same creek, shared the same nightmares about house fires and missing mothers. Before Tommy escaped to law school and state politics. Before he learned to wear power like expensive, cologne and speak in carefully, measured words that mean nothing and everything. Heard. You've been stirring up old graves. Heard. Your daddy's been covering up. Murder. That's a serious accusation. It's a serious crime. Inside the station, fluorescent lights buzz over 3 generations of Morton men facing off against the twins they once protected or silenced. Sheriff Morton sits behind his desk like a cornered animal, his badge catching the harsh light. Tommy stands beside him, political polish cracking around the edges. You think you can just waltz back here and demand justice? Sheriff Morton spits, his voice raw with decades of buried guilt. Sarah pulls the wooden cross from her pocket, holding it up like evidence in a trial that should have happened 20 years ago. I think we already have it, along with witness testimony and a body count. Governor Morton's political mask slips for just a moment, revealing the scared boy who used to hide behind his father's badge. What body count? The baby in the well, the mama shot dead, and whoever else your family helped disappear over the years. Jake steps forward, his presence filling the small space between past and present. We're not kids anymore. Tommy, we're not hiding behind the rancher's coattails. Tommy's eyes dart between his father's weathered face and the twins who represent everything his political career depends on keeping buried. The weight of generations presses down on the room like storm clouds before thunder. What do you want? The truth in the papers, arrests, justice. And if I refuse, then we go to the state investigators ourselves. Tommy Morton looks between his father's badge and his own political future, calculating the cost of truth versus the price of continued silence. Outside, the black sedan waits like a hearse. You have 24 hours, he says finally. The old house burns for the second time in 20 years. This time, Sarah lit the match herself. Orange flames lick at the walls that held too many secrets, consuming the rooms where violence lived and breathed for decades. The heat feels cleansing against her face, washing away the stain of memory that no amount of scrubbing could ever remove. Sheriff Morton stands in handcuffs as state investigators photograph the scene, their cameras flashing like lightning against the night sky. His badge lies in the dirt at his feet, reflecting firelight like a fallen star. 20 years of corruption reduced to a piece of metal in the dust. Why? Clint asks Sarah as they watch the flames consume her childhood prison, because some places are too poisoned to heal. Jake emerges from the smoke carrying their mama's journal, the leather cover singed but intact. The pages inside tell the truth in her careful handwriting, their father's rage, the sheriff's complicity, and the governor's family's long history of buying silence with blood money. She wrote it all down, Jake says, his voice thick with smoke and emotion. Even about the baby? Even about the baby. Sarah takes the journal with trembling hands, opening to the final entry. Her voice carries over the crackle of burning wood as she reads aloud the words her mother wrote the night she died. If something happens to me, know that I loved you both. Sarah, you are your father's daughter in spirit but not in blood. Jake, you are the son of my heart. The rancher Morrison is a good man who tried to save us all. I pray someday the truth will set us free. In the morning, the newspapers will run headlines about corruption and cover-ups. Governor Morton will resign in disgrace. Sheriff Morton will stand trial for accessory to murder. The Morton dynasty will crumble like ash in the wind. But tonight, Sarah and Jake watch their past turn to smoke while Clint's strong hand rests on their shoulders. The same hand that pulled them from these flames decades ago, that raised them with quiet dignity, that never asked for anything in return. You think Mama's finally at peace? Jake asks. Sarah looks into the fire and sees her mother's face in the smoke, smiling at last, free from the weight of secrets that killed her. Yeah, I think she is. The wooden cross from the well hangs around Sarah's neck now, a talisman of truth reclaimed. Behind them, the rancher's land stretches endlessly and clean under starlight, ready for whatever grows next.